Ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? Welcome back to the Best Bets. Today we're taking a look at UFC Fight Night, Brandon Moreno versus Steve Erceg. This is episode 17. We're going to be taking a look at the 4 best bets. We're going to be taking a look at the parlays and the props. If you guys want to take a look at the parlays, skip on ahead to near the end of the video. If you're looking for the props, probably about 2/3 of the way in, and we're going to be taking a look at those. I do give about 1 prop for every single fight. I give 4 best bets, and I give the parlays that I think are going to hit. Let's get right into it. Parlays are not a good way to make money, but let me tell you, the straights are. So if you're betting underdog straights, if you're betting just, fighters, you're putting a little bit of more cash on it, it is better to not bet the parlays, but you want to bet that small amount and get that big amount. Let's do some parlays. Anyway, we're going to go ahead with the 4 best bets. The first best bet being Jamal Emmers versus Gabriel Miranda. We're going to be going ahead with the under 2.5 rounds inside this fight. I do like Jamal Emmers here by KO or submission, but I do look more like the side of under 2.5 rounds. Gabriel Miranda being a very, very good submission artist. His jiu-jitsu is off the chain. He is really, really good. He is similar to Pat Sabatini in that his stand-up is not that great. Jamal Emmers did clip Pat Sabatini in their fight, dropped him to the ground. Pat Sabatini forces a takedown, gets on his back, but does get a hold of a leg, begins a heel hook situation, and basically pops the leg of Jamal Emmers. Gabriel Miranda can very well do that himself, which is why I more lean the side of under 2.5 rounds. Jamal Emmers, though, very, very heavy-handed, kind of coming into his own, looking very good recently in his fights. He did get knocked out by Nate Landwehr, but he did rock Nate early in that fight. Again, Dennis Bajuka, kind of a shitty win, but he did knock him out as well. Jack Jenkins split decision, bad. But I think here, Gabriel Miranda being knocked out before in most of his fights by Morgan Charrier and Benoit Saint-Denis. Morgan's kind of getting wins over shitty guys with knockouts. You kind of expect a knockout here or a finish among either side, especially at altitude. Again, these fights are at altitude, so expect people to gas, expect people to get finished late. 3rd round, 2nd round props, look at them. Take a look. Anyway, Jamal Emmers and Gabriel Miranda under 2.5 rounds. That is the first best bet. I like Jamal Emmers money line too as a best bet, but we're going under 2.5 rounds because, to be honest, a minus 450 line's a little bit too chalky to lock up. Come on, we're trying to make some money here. We're not trying to fucking play piss. But if you're realistically, the first best bet is Jamal Emmers money line, but we're gonna be doing the under 2.5 rounds to make some more money. Anyway, next on the best bets, Lupita Godinez versus Julia Pelostri. A lot of people picking Julia Pelostri. Pelostri's a fucking can. She's a can. She looks like shit. Lupita Godinez, if she loses this fight, I will regard her as the biggest can inside the women's strawweight division, by far. I think Loopy here, this is a perfect bounce back fight for her. I think Julie is kind of shitty. She just doesn't stay at range very well, even though she has the range advantage. She doesn't really do that well against girls who put pressure on her. And Loopy's a girl, it's kind of like Michael Chandler. She just kind of walks forward, beats her up. She kind of looks like a Yair Rodriguez, just kind of forces action, just wants to fight, wants to be a part of it. BJ Penn in his prime, just walking forward, just beating girls up. Yeah, she's lost her last 2, Mackenzie Dern, Verna Jandaroba. Those are heavy wrestlers. This is going to be a stand-up fight against Julia Pelostri, and I do not believe Lupita is going to be taken down here. I think she's going to be able to stand up, and Lupita Godinez as the money line, minus 250, is where we stand. She could finish Julia Pelostri, to be completely honest, but I don't think she will. I guess we'll see tomorrow night. I just realized that I also don't have my light on. I'm not sure why I'm doing this without the light. Here, let's just put this on real quick. Oh my god, you guys can see my face now. Look at that. Anyway, we're going to go into the 3rd best bet of the evening. We have Christian Rodriguez versus Makwezi Costa. We're taking Christian C-Rod Rodriguez to just kind of beat up Makwezi Costa. I'm not going to be surprised if Christian's able to stop him. He's been getting a lot of decisions over these guys, but Makwezi Costa is going to be getting a pace on him. He's going to be having a bit of a tough time, not really fighting at altitude. Christian Rodriguez, again, every time he's fought guys at altitude, fought Raul Rosas Jr. at altitude. That was in where? Was that altitude? I thought it was. I thought, because Raul gassed. Maybe I was mistaken. Anyway, I do believe that C-Rod here is just a little bit better. He's just kind of that force pressure that doesn't really stop. He doesn't really have a problem with any of it. He's the kind of the prospect killer at this point. He's fucking killed 5 out of the last 6 prospects he's battled. I mean, Julian Erosa doesn't really count, I guess, because he's more of a vet that's kind of trying to make his way back into the win column. Again, fighting Darren Elkins soon. I do love that fight. I'm very, very excited for that. Darren the Damage always coming back for a nice victory. But a loss like that, a guillotine choke, you know, he was doing well against Julian early. I think here he can extend his win streak against a guy that's just a little bit slower. I think Makosi Acosta is good, but Andre Fili kind of gave him that guillotine. Nurdan Mbeke kind of gave him the choke. Steve Garcia beat the shit out of him. I could see C-Rod beating the shit out of him too. So I'm going to be going with C-Rod Rodriguez minus 170 money line as the 3rd best bet. And we're going to be moving on to the 4th best bet of the evening. If you guys did enjoy this so far, make sure to drop a like, subscribe if you have not already. We have an honorable mention we're going to be putting on here. Ronaldo Rodriguez, Kevin Borras. I think under 2.5 rounds is a little bit understated here. I think maybe not to go the distance is probably better. Plus 125 here. Borras really, really strong with the knockout power. Rodriguez being clipped inside of his last fight, but Rodriguez having really good submission ability here. Kevin Borras can definitely get choked out. So the not to go the distance honorable mention. I do like Ronaldo Rodriguez money line too as well. I also like, if you're really looking at it, Manuel Torres, Drew Dober. I love Drew Dober. Honestly, I was thinking about making him my best bet, my 4th best bet. More of a lock situation because I think Manuel Torres just kind of gasses out a little bit too quick. And we're fighting at altitude. Drew Dober does not gas. He's going to move forward no matter what. He's probably going to finish Manuel Torres in the 2nd or 3rd round. The 4th best bet of the evening is going to be Joe Pyfer versus Calvin Gastelum, and we're going with Joe Pyfer. I think Calvin Gastelum at middleweight is one of the worst-looking fucking fighters I've ever seen in my life. I think if he actually settled himself and got to 170 and didn't fight like an absolute tool against people like Sean Brady and shit, he'd actually look good. But instead, he wants to be fat, eat his tacos. Be my fucking guest. You're fighting Joe Pyfer, who's one of the scariest knockout guys inside middleweight right now. Went to a decision with Jack Hermanson, where Jack Hermanson won the last 3 rounds, which, yeah, he did. Joe Pyfer almost got him in the first 2. Jack ate some nasty shots, but Joe just gassed, which is fair. Joe's going to win the first 2 rounds no matter what here. Calvin just doesn't look that good anymore. So I'm hovering Joe Pyfer by submission probably because I don't think the knockout power is going to be enough to take out Calvin. Calvin's just... Bro, this guy just lasts forever somehow. I don't know how he always lasts inside these fights, but he does. Not to go the distance, minus 130. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I'm all over it. Plus 115 for Joe Pyfer to finish Calvin Gastelum. I love it. I think that's going to be your best bet of the evening. I think that's going to be your lock of the week. Plus 115 for Joe Pyfer not to go the distance with Calvin Gastelum. Now, we're going to take a look at the props. 1 for each fight. And we're just going to run through it real quick. Marquel Medeiros versus Austin Hubbard. I think we're going... I think Austin Hubbard as an underdog you have to pick here because Marquel kind of lost his last fight. Austin Hubbard pushes the pace, and Medeiros kind of looked like he folded under pressure, and the grappling is kind of null and void right now. We haven't really seen much from Marquel. So I'd like to see if Austin Hubbard can get him down. I'd like to see what Markel's working with. I don't think he's going to be able to move. So I think Austin Hubbard as an underdog plus 130 early. I think he's decent. Jamal Emmers, Gabriel Miranda. Again, like I said, under 2.5 rounds, minus 175. Not to go the distance, probably your best bet at minus 230 just to lock it up. But honestly... You can get this at DraftKings. I think it's, let's just take a look at it real quick. I think it's Miranda by submission or Jamal Emmers by KO, and it's sitting at like minus 190. Let's just take a look at it real quick. Jamal Emmers, yeah, minus 225. I like this a lot. If you can get this in your parlays, do it. I think that's the best bet, to be honest, for this fight. Rafa Garcia, Vince Pichel. I think Vince Pichel is a plus 300 underdog is decent. Rafa Garcia really, really good with the pressure wrestling. But Vince Pichel, very dangerous in the stand-up. KO power is still there. Hover maybe a couple units on Vince Pichel by KO, and you can be making some profit in the long term. Pichel is 42 years of age. Keep that in mind. Doesn't have very many knockouts inside the UFC, but still is very dangerous. Lupita Godinez, Julia Pelostri, over 2.5 rounds, probably your lock, minus 600. But Lupita Godinez money line is where I'm sitting. Christian Rodriguez versus Makosi Acosta. Not to go the distance, plus 135. I love it. I love it. It's an underdog pick, and it's sitting well with me. But C-Rod Rodriguez is where I'm sitting at for the money line on this fight. Jose Medina versus Atiba Gautier. We're going over 1.5 rounds, sitting at -165. Gautier, a devastating knockout puncher. And Medina just fucking able to endure everything, dude. He's able to endure everything. If you're looking at Gautier by decision, you wouldn't be mistaken. I'm probably going to hover that as well. Plus 225. Probably going inside the cycle parlay. We're going Edgar Chairez, CJ Vergara. We're going Chairez money line, Chairez by submission. I think Vergara kind of fades late. Kind of looks terrible when guys are all over him. So look for Chairez to be his submission grappling self and to lock it up. Ronaldo Rodriguez versus Kevin Borras. Rodriguez could definitely get a knockout here. Barras does hit hard, but Rodriguez does get nice positions on the ground. I could definitely see crucifix position, and Kevin just gets stuck. Not to go the distance, plus 125. Not bad. But Rodriguez by KO, plus 600. All right. David Martinez versus Simon Oliveira. This is actually a really close fight. I'm going to go with Simon Oliveira just because of the underdog status. Again, this is not a pick. This is a betting side. In the long term, Simon Oliveira is probably going to pay you out more. And David Martinez, we don't know enough about him to be realistic. Simon Oliveira, we also don't know that much about him. But Simon Oliveira by submission, plus 700, plus 1,400 for the KO. Not to go distance with Simon Oliveira, plus 450. Just pay attention, guys, because that line doesn't really make sense. It means they're kind of expecting Oliveira to either get a finish or Martinez to most likely go the distance. So we'll see what's going on there. Raul Rosas, I think that is one of the first fights to start off the card too. So usually the first two fights they're trying to make them finishes. So remember that. Raul Rosas Jr., Vince Morales. Vince Morales in the long run making you money. I mean, if C-Rod can get a win on Raul Rosas, I mean, fuck, Vince could too. He's got good grappling. He's got good counter wrestling. Raul's probably going to force him up against the cage the whole fight. Morales, decent knees, might be able to chin Raul. We'll see. Definitely probably going the distance. Over 2.5 rounds, minus 180. I don't mind that. I like it. I don't mind it. Calvin Gastelum, Joe Pyfer. Again, not to go the distance, minus 130. I like that. Joe Pyfer by submission, plus 333. I could see that happening. Manuel Torres versus Drew Dober. Drew Dober by KO is probably where we're sitting here. Most likely going to just piece up Torres in the late and just drop him and end it that way. I do like not to go the distance, minus 750. Yeah, I agree, guys. I agree, okay. Brandon Moreno versus Steve Erceg. We're taking a look at over 4.5 rounds, probably, minus 225. I want to pick Erceg here for the money line, but it's really tough because Brandon Moreno's so good on the ground that I think Steve's going to have a big fucking problem. It's going to be a big problem because Brandon Moreno's still one of those guys, very tough in the division, still top of the top, basically champ level status. He's the top two, basically. Pantoja and him are top two, and Steve Erceg trying to break through there after that close fight with Pantoja, but the loss to Kai Kara France. We'll see if he can get it done. Now, let's take a look, guys, real quick at what we can do with some parlays here. Early parlay coming in. Jamal Emmers, Hubbard, and Lupita, plus 293. If you want to look at Jamal Emmers, not to go the distance here. You have plus 479. $20 gets you 115 early. I don't mind that. But if you don't like the Hubbard side, you can just go over. Jamal Emmers, not to go the distance here. And then you can go Lupita. Still sitting at plus 228. Still good. You still get some decent money on it early. C-Rod, Edgar Chairez, Joe Pyfer, plus 181. That's kind of a lockup in my opinion. Jamal Emmers on that, plus 244. Yeah, that's probably one of your better bets to make on the parlays. Again, parlays are kind of tough, man. They're tough because you're expecting 4 guys to win like that. You could go if you want to make some decent cash. Let's see if we can make a cycle parlay real quick. Let's see what we got. We got Drew Dober by knockout. That's good. We'll take that all day. Gautier maybe by decision, and Edgar Chairez by submission. So yeah, I actually like that a lot. You're looking at this for plus 2794. What is it? $25 gets you 800. 725. Maybe take out Edgar Chairez by submission. If you don't like that, put Joe Pyfer in by submission. plus 3, 2, 4, 4. I mean, 836. I think I like Edgar Chairez more by submission. I think he's a better submission artist than Joe Pyfer is. I do think Joe Pyfer is going to overwhelm Kelvin, especially with the what's it called, the altitude in effect. And I do think Drew Dober is going to finish Torres late and just kind of put a pace on him. This is going to be my late parlay. Let's see. Dober, Pyfer. Here, yeah, we're going to go Pyfer. Here. Actually, maybe. Here, we'll see in a second. Hold on. All right. Let's see. Ronaldo Rodriguez, Edgar Chairez. We're going to go with C-Rod on that. Lupita Godinez, Jamal Emmers. So these are the most confident picks I'm feeling with right now. These are all of the most confident picks. This is probably the only shit I would recommend betting. 100%. This is probably a 7-pick parlay I'm going to be betting myself. Jamal Emmers on the money line, Lupita Godinez on the money line, Christian Rodriguez on the money line, Edgar Chairez on the money line, Ronaldo Rodriguez on the money line, and Drew Dober on the money line. Over 1.5 rounds for Joe Pyfer. I'm going to get rid of that and just put Joe Pyfer money line so that we don't fuck with it. Plus 1, 3, 4, 5 is your 7-pick parlay. If you want to put that over 1.5 rounds because you're feeling confident with Joe Pyfer, it brings it up to 2, 1, 7, 9. $25 gets you 5, 6, 9. I do hit these big parlays once in a while. I did hit them the last 3 weekends in a row. We're going to see if we can put them together. I did not hit the ones I put inside the video. I did hit my own. This is the one I will be betting, though. I did most of the bets I have done on the videos I've hit. I think I'm like, I don't know, I'm 70%, I think, at least for the last month. Not too bad. But that's all I got for you guys today. Hope you guys did enjoy. Make sure to drop a like, subscribe if you have not already. If you guys have any interesting bets that you're putting on, put them in the comments. Let me see. I'm interested. Let's see what we got. Share the love, and I'll share it with you. That's all I got for you guys today. Hope you guys did enjoy. I'll talk to you guys all later. See you later today for the live. Peace.